too many of us take great pains with what we ingest through our mouth and far less with what we partake through our eyes and ears. When you truly think about it, the modern world is all about consumption. Look at like the media that we're intaking all the time. I mean, we're always on our phones looking through social medias, maybe we're on the TV, we're looking at the news, all this different information just bombarding us. Even if we're driving on the street, I mean, we're like driving, trying to mind our own business, trying to be safe, be careful, but then we have all these bright signs that are coming in left and right, trying to like take attention away from our safety, which is pretty mind-blowing that this happens. You know, the modern world is all about trying to gain our attention, and all these media, all these things that they put at us, you know, after a while it makes us truly addicted. You can probably look at your own life right now. Just look at how much time you spend on your phone. It's probably upwards of a few hours at the very least. And with this, there's a big problem. We're more on our phones than in real life. We become addicted to these things. If you actually try to stop using your phone, try to stop using YouTube, try to stop using Instagram, whatever it may be, try to stop playing video games. It is very, very difficult. It's very difficult because these actual companies, they basically hire people that their only like use is to research ways in which they can get people to stay on their platforms for the longest period of time. You know, I literally walk into these washrooms. This happened twice now in the past few months. Walk into the washroom, and I kid you not, there's literally a guy at the urinal peeing with his phone. Bro, that's like insane. Like literally, like you can't even pay attention to taking a piss, but you actually have to be on your phone, like scrolling. And so this is a big problem, right? I mean, we're always taking account like what we eat, right? Our diet, but we never think about the diet of our minds. What are we ingesting through our eyes and ears? Right now, I want you to take some time to actually think of why you're using these medias. Like really think hard, because when we think about why we are actually like addicted, why can't we stop? Then we can find some interesting truths. The reason why we are always on this phone, like literally like, if you're doing nothing, you probably find yourself like just picking up your phone and going to like Instagram or YouTube and just scrolling. You didn't even think, you just picked it up and like, that's you. If you think about why that happens, is that we are always searching for peak pleasures. We're always seeking for some sort of thrill, something to pop out and be engaging in our life. You know, we find that our lives may be boring, and so we try to find flavor through these different media platforms, through these different avenues of entertainment. But if you really think about it, obviously life's gonna be boring if all we're doing is sitting hunched over our toilet looking at our phone all day. Like there's no adventure there, just the same thing, just like sitting there. We're not actually living our life. We're just, you know, watching other people live their life. We're just, I don't know what we're doing on our phones. It's just a waste of time. And so because we feel like our lives are so boring, all we're doing is trying to find some new ideas. Like I said, we're trying to find these peak pleasures. And where do we find that? Entertainment on these media platforms. We're scrolling, trying to find something new, something interesting to catch our attention. And what's interesting here is that even though we're trying to find new ideas, we don't give ourselves time to think about them. Think about this, like you're on YouTube, you watch one video. There's not many times where you just stop and like, that's it for today. Usually you just go binge watch, go try to find the next video. And you never get time to actually think about and reflect on what you just saw. And so we're literally being overstimulated. There's so much content coming in and we never actually have time to think about it or even think about our own ideas in our own mind. What I think is that we just gotta stop consuming and just sit and think. I think that each of us have a vast amount of ideas, but we're never given the chance to actually think them because all we're doing is consuming. And so what I suggest you do is just sit and think. Don't like consume any more media and just let your mind go, let your mind think. Whatever ideas mean to you, you know, it might be like reflecting on life, you know, thinking about your goals and plans, whatever that thing is, just sit and think and stop consuming all the time. You know, we always think like, how do I do X, Y, Z? You know, we search up a video for that. But we probably have in our brain somewhere, some way to think out like how to do this thing. We can use our own creativity, but we'd rather just like watch some random video, see how they do it, and then forget what we just watched because we're just watching another video right after. And so what this video has been about so far is, first off, don't consume. You know, we've been seeing how, you know, the media is like destructive and how we've been addicted to it. And it's just stopping us from being creative and thinking of new ideas and reflecting. So instead, what we do, number 2, is to just sit and think. Stop consuming and just sit and think. Let our ideas flow. And lastly, what I want to talk about in this video is, obviously we're going to consume at some point, but what you consume is very important. So you don't want to just consume any random thing, like I said. Stop going on like Instagram, just scrolling mindlessly. Instead, maybe we can find different videos or books that are more educational and that build us up and that teach us or inspire us. You've probably heard the saying, you are what you eat. And although that saying is for like physical food, this can also apply to the diet of our minds. And so what we consume through our eyes and ears, that affects of like what we become, who we are. There's that other saying that says, you are the average of the 4 or 5 people that you spend the most time with. And so if we are watching videos all the time, maybe we have like our top 5 influencers that we watch or read about. Those are the people that we are most likely to become. And so we're watching like some guy named Brian or something. And we watch Brian all day, every single day. Obviously we're going to become more like Brian because all we're doing is watching Brian. You know, the way he speaks, the way he acts, the way he thinks, that's how we're going to think. That's the way we're going to act and talk. And so we need to be careful who we are watching, who we are consuming. As Christians, we are called to not conform to the patterns of this world. We're called to not compromise our worldview, our beliefs, when it comes to things like the media. And so we have to stay vigilant in curating the media that we intake, whatever it may be, whether it's books or movies or shows or YouTube videos or Instagram, whatever sources we're going through. We have to ask, is this person somebody that's good? Are they aligned with biblical truths and worldviews? And obviously, this is going to be a very difficult task. It's very difficult to find people that are aligned in this way and that can speak truths and that can be a good example, a good role model that we can look up to and learn from. But of course, there's one person that we can look up to, which is Jesus. And obviously, the greatest source that we can find Jesus and know him and know God better is through the Bible, right? The Bible, I was literally just flipping through this book, my Bible. This book. I was literally flipping through my Bible the other day, and I was just flipping through trying to find some verses for some other project. I was looking through my Bible, looking through the highlights and the stars for the important ones that really spoke to me, and it is filled with insanely strong verses. Like if you haven't read your Bible much recently, I do encourage you to get it out because there's bound to be verses that can apply to your life, your experiences, what you're going through right now. And so that's why I'm telling you, like, go read your Bible. I mean, I tell you guys to read your Bible in most videos, but really I'm trying to drill it in for this one because the Bible is a source that we can always be like, yes, this is a good one. This is always good for the diet of our minds. This is something that always builds us up, something that's good for us, something that like makes us better. And what I suggest is finding verses that speak to you, like literally verses that affect your life situation right now. If you're dealing with like depression, go find verses on that. If you're dealing with addiction, find verses on that. If you're dealing with some relationship stuff, find verses on that. And so that's what the Bible is for. It's an incredible book. And not only is it like sort of like a guide for different like problems in life, the Bible also helps us understand who God is, and that is an incredible thing. When we go into the media of the modern day, it's easy to find people who are talking about God, making claims about Christians that are untrue, that aren't actually factually based. And they'll look at Western Christians who are really not even practicing their faith, and they'll sort of expand that to all Christians everywhere, and that's how they all act. And so that's unfortunately very problematic. And the way we can combat this is to understand the Bible, understand actual truths, and soon you'll be able to sort of unravel all the false assumptions and ideas and beliefs about Christians, about God, and about the faith. And we just become stronger for it. But at the end of the humble day, if we're ingesting the Bible and intaking its truths, all its wisdom, then we slowly become more Christ-like, especially if we're putting these things into practice. You can't just read, you actually have to put these things into practice, and you'll become more Christ-like, become a better person to serve and love other people around you. And that's really like the main goal. That's really an awesome thing that we can do, and that's something that we can absolutely rely on as our foundation compared to other types of media which will not be as fulfilling. Things that will make us probably worse people. But I hope you enjoyed. I hope that this helped out, and I hope that you can take a step back, think about what you're ingesting through your ears and eyes and your nose, all that stuff, and pretty much just, curate your stuff. Like, question what you're intaking. Maybe you have to ingest less and think more, use your brain more, and adventure more. But that's it for this video. If you are interested in more videos like this, I'll be making more of them. I'll be making videos on survival, movement, wellness, spiritual disciplines, all that stuff. And if you're interested, you can subscribe and comment below what you learned from this video and how I can improve to make these videos better, to serve you and teach you, inspire you better. So, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time, everybody.